Hi guys, Chosen Reactions, and this video I'm going to review Season 8 of the original Charm series, also known as the final season. Yes, we're finally here with the review. I'm still a little bit in denial about finishing Charmed, but it really happened. Yeah, so just like the last couple of reviews, I once again asked my patrons to send me some questions, and I'm going to try my hardest to answer them. um, yeah, so I think I have like around 30 questions, maybe almost 40. I'm gonna try to answer as many as I can. And like always, they might not always be in the best order, but I kinda try to sort of sort them. Yeah. But with having that said, let's get into it. Did you enjoy season 8? I would say overall I did enjoy it. I rewatched some of my after discussions of the episodes, and looking back was kind of fun or funny to see how anxious I was or how nervous I was about it being the last season. I definitely was very impatient at the start. I think, after the first two episodes, I started to be like, yeah, this is all fine, it's all dandy and all of that, but what is going to be the main story arc? Who is going to be the main villain? What are we, what exactly are we working towards to? Like, I want to see where the finish line is. Um, so that kind of made it hard for me at first to really enjoy the season. At first, I think if it wasn't the final season, that I would have been more relaxed right away. But for now, it took me a while. But I don't just want to blame it on my own nerves. I do think that overall, if I would have to say it in short, that I did enjoy season 8 a lot, but I don't think it's one of the best seasons. I don't think that's the case. I do think the writing sometimes was a little bit weird. Um, I think one of the biggest offenders, well, a lot of people were quite upset about that, and rightfully, is that the writers forgot that Paige was also, one of the people responsible of defeating the Source, and she didn't remember that. And I don't think, to be fair, I don't think I was really, I really noticed that error. I'm not sure. Like, I would watch that part because, like, hey, did I not remember it, or was I just? And I tried to decipher my facial expressions, but I'm not sure what was going on there. I was like, did you notice it or not? But now, after I read the comments, and now even more, I'm like, how the fuck? How did you screw that up? I don't wanna blame Rose, although I am wondering, like, did you also forget? But I can kind of understand with how many. I don't even want to know how many hours she had to shoot all of the scenes, and maybe sometimes, I don't know. I'm not sure if they film everything in like chronological order, so I don't really want to blame point the finger at her. I rather want to talk with the writers or one of the writers. Like, I don't understand how you can make such a mistake. So that was kind of a big one. We have the source back, but then one of them doesn't even remember that she was part of defeating him, before. And also that she was asking him like, hey, how did you defeat them? What did you do then instead of using potions? Like, what? So there were definitely some moments in season 8 where the writers kind of, but then again, I also have to blame the network because I'm not sure how many times the network has intervened with the plans. Um, so in short, I would say I did enjoy season 8. I would say it improved a lot. Kind of ironic, but after Leo got sent away, not because I'm happy that Leo was gone, that he got frozen. Like, I still wish that he could have stayed, but around that time we finally got to know what exactly the finish line is. Like, okay, what are we doing here? But with the whole disgusting twist, like, oh, we're gonna have to snatch Leo away so that Piper will be enough motivated, to defeat evil, to defeat, to win the final battle. That's when we finally, as viewers, know, like, oh, that's what's up. That's the thing they're going for. It kind of made everything more clear. So it really sucked that he got away, that he was removed from the show because of budget reasons. But at the same time, I started to feel like, oh shit, okay, this is the final season. Shit just got real. mm, so kind of a weird answer, but I'm not. I don't want to go into everything right now because I know there are like more specific questions towards the season. So yeah, I think that's my answer for now. So started off like a little bit too nervous, like what we're gonna do, some rocky things. And then later on, okay, now it feels like the final season. Oh, now we're starting to build up to something epic, even though I sometimes have to like close one of my eyes or like look away from some weird inconsistencies and stuff. And then we have the finale that just blew me away and just made me an old mess. Alright, next question. Favorite and least favorite episode this season? Well, the favorite episode, this is an easy answer. I just want to say the finale. This series finale. Ugh. Yeah, it just really warmed my heart. Chances would have been. The chances were very big that I would be disappointed. A lot of shows have kind of disappointing series finales. Even some of my favorite shows. So for Charmed, I was like, okay, what if I'm not gonna like it? Or what if I feel like, oh, it's okay? I'm not sure if I can deal with that, After watching this whole show, after reacting to this whole show, and then have like some kind of mediocre ending. But for me, it worked. I think, for me, the most important part of enjoying a show is the emotional part. There are shows that have some rocky writing or do have some plot holes, but most of the time, I would say most of the time, not always, but most of the time, I'm not really that bothered if it still delivers on an emotional level to me. If I still continue to care about characters, or if I feel if I get some kind of closure, And I do think Charm did that. I just loved this whole, that we're gonna travel back into time. We're gonna get the whole family together, people from like the future, the past, all together to finally put a stop to this. I just love that. I wouldn't say it's like flawless or anything. Like if I would have to like off the top of my head, for example, Billie's infamous reaction towards killing your own sister. That could have been better in my opinion. But again, just seeing them all together, getting Chris and Wyatt, not just in a flash forward, but actually being a part of the plot. I think the only thing that could have made it even better would be, of course, to include Prue, but we all know why she wasn't. No, I loved it. But of course, I think a lot of people would predict for me to, give the final episode as an answer. But so I tried to come up with other episodes that I really liked. So I kind of went through, like I said, to my episode reviews to kind of see, okay, which episodes stood out to me or did I enjoy a lot. Again, doesn't mean those are the best episodes, just episodes that I had like a great time with. So the first one that I mentioned was episode 7, The Lost Picture Show, which had the return of Sam, and this time I actually recognized him in time. Kind of like my redemption moment there, like, Sam! And when I rewatched that back, I saw that when Paige said Sam, and he seemed to be when he kind of reacted like Sam, like, why would you call me Sam? It kind of seems that I was like, wait a minute, you're not telling me that's not Sam, right? But it was just because he was like, hey, I'm your dad. So no, it was kind of funny to see me once again be like, oh no, don't tell me I fucked up. But yeah, we had Sam's return. I like to see that. I like what the writers did when they included Paige into storyline, how they how they tried to make it make sense why exactly, she can be also one of the power of 3. I like this whole, how they worked it in. The writers were very, very lucky that before they added Paige to the show, they already made up this storyline about their mom being in love with a white lighter, because that made it way more believable later on that there was like this love child that they didn't know about. So I thought I liked Sam in his first appearance, and then the second time, even though I didn't recognize him immediately, I also likely got to see him again. But I don't know, I do like Sam as a character. I didn't always agree with his whole, I'm your father, like, dude, you do have to be a little bit more patient. But I was very happy that we got to see him again, and that he also pushes Paige in this episode, to accept more of a white lighter side, which he eventually is going to accept like 100% totally, as we saw in the finale. But But not just that, I also really like this episode, of course, because uh, how Piper and Leo switch bodies, and especially because of Brian's performance, just the way he mimics like Holly's expressions, just the Piper thing, the Piper sass, just like doing the little like ha scream, the way he does this smile, like Piper has this typical smile she does when she's like, "What the fuck is going on? Can you please stop?" Like, I don't know, just amazing. We kind of had something similar, but then it was with their powers. But this still felt fresh to me. I don't know. I didn't get bored of it. It's a great way for them to, get a better understanding of each other's problems and get each other's perspective. Um, and of course, we had the iconic Piper and Leo scream in the car. Duh, I can't get enough of that scene. Like whenever I see like a GIF, I just hear the scream. I also mentioned that maybe it's like a guilty pleasure. I don't know, but I also mentioned. I don't think it's really a fan favorite, but like episode 9, Hocus Pocus. My God, the name. Um, I don't. I just got. I know that the Hulk part was maybe a little bit too ridiculous, and they obviously used doubles. But the guy thought it was funny to once again, use some kind of like makeup or prosthetics instead of just, having like demons who look like humans or pretty like transformations just involve like a makeover, like, oh, I have a new outfit, now I'm bad. I don't I appreciated the effort, let me put it that way. But I also really like this moment that we had. Yeah, I think it was was it with the fridge or not? I believe that was the episode where Phoebe was with the by the fridge, standing by the fridge, and she kind of broke down a little. It just everything was too much for her in that moment, and that even though I don't want to see her in pain, of course not. I did like that more because it really reminded me of the early seasons, especially season 1. Especially, I don't know, this was a nice contrast between the weirdness that has been going on in Charmed, and especially already season 8 with the whole fact that they couldn't even be themselves, they have to fake their identities and all of that. I like that just in the midst of chaos, she just, it would be like a very mundane moment, but it makes sense that in the moment where it's totally quiet, where there's nothing else going on at that moment, you just kind of, you just have to like take a sec, like, oh my God. So I don't know, for those reasons, I did really appreciate that moment. Plus, I think episode 9 is also the episode where I started to like Billie more. Because, Billie, and I'm going to talk about that more later, Billie kind of had a weird start with me. So in episode 9, I do remember, like, oh, okay, I feel like I kind of have a grasp on this character now. I kind of see her as a person instead of just like I guess like a concept of a character, which also helped. That episode, Via con Leos. Yeah, that episode, I don't like the reason behind it, of course. It makes me quite frankly extremely pissed off that this show, which had, a lot of viewers, a very dedicated fan base, and was for a very long time, I think like the longest running female-led show, barely got any respect of the network. Like, barely, if any. Like, what the how could they give them less and less money? Why? Why would you do that? Why would you give them an extra season and then like, okay, you get your extra season, but we're gonna take away even more money? And I'm not sure exactly what is true and what is not true. I'm not sure if it's like a fact or not, because of some people are here like, oh, it's mainly because they had to get the actress for Billie, that's why they had to, literally fridge Leo so they could pay her. Others say no, it's not just her, it's like, it's just like her and Agent Murphy and Dex, useless Dex or whatever. Just a whole lot of different factors of why they couldn't pay Brian anymore. And I don't know, I just don't want to imagine how Brian felt or what his reaction was when he got that ridiculous message. Like, he's been such a huge part of this show from season 1 already. and you're just gonna like, oh, sorry, Brian, we can't pay you anymore. Lol. Like, like, thank God he made his return. Imagine if he didn't. But okay, end of the rant. Anyways, even though it's once again drama for Piper and Leo, and I and I do want them to be happy. Uh, Sometimes it can be good to have your heart ripped out or be stepped on or be spat on or be whatever. Because damn the acting in this one. Oh, once again, Holly Bryan killing it, of course. But this was really like I'm almost getting like goosebumps again. Like again, I hate the reason, but I loved the build up in this episode. Just that we start off quite innocently. Leo and Piper have this cute moment. Leo really wants this car, and then without any warning, you see the Angel of Death, and like, oh fuck, what is he doing here? It can't be good. If the Angel of Death is here, it can't be good. Just this tension building. Like you start to wonder, like, okay, why is he here? For who? And then they just slap you with, oh yeah, I'm here to take Leo away. But you still don't know why. You're like, okay, he wants to take Leo, but why? And then we have this iconic moment where Piper demands an explanation from not just the elders, but also from the avatars. Queen. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? You know what? When you started season 1, seeing Piper there, and now seeing her in season 8, and especially in that moment, who would have thought? I kind of felt like a proud mama. Girl. So, just, the length she had to go to get an explanation, and it kept going, it kept getting more and more complicated, and you're like, why can't they say anything now? Even the Evidence doesn't want to say anything, and then we have to reveal like, oh, whoops, it's the Angel of Destiny. And she's serious. She's like, oh no, he needs to go. He needs to die. He needs to die. And again, like, why does he need to die? And then you found out, like, oh, like I said earlier, we find out about the end game, about the fact that there is the ultimate battle that has to be won by the Charmed Ones. They can't, there can't be any risk of them losing. And the Angel of Destiny believes that the only guarantee for that to happen is to make sure that if Leo is dead, if he's dead, then Piper, I guess, will be so motivated to get revenge that they have to win, right? We're gonna discuss about that plan later on. But then, Jesus, there were so many, like, we had all that build-up, but at the same time, we also get to see Leo's reaction, when Piper tells him about it in the bathroom. Then the scene, like, like, one of my favorite, also one of the moments I hate the most, because of the hurt, but, like, seeing Leo in the car, he wants to see Wyatt, and he can't even do that. He's still like, why? And the Angel's just like, sooner or later you have to go, and then he disappears, and Leo wants to step out, see Wyatt, and then he gets hit by a car. The hospital scene, of course the goodbye scene, there is so much heartbreak, but damn, is it good. Then we have episode 16, Engaged and Confused. And in this one, we get to see how the Charmed Ones destroy 2 of the 3 Triad members. I was shocked that they did it so quickly. I was a little bit like, wait, what? But it's nice to see their development, their evolution of their powers, of their strength. Starting in season 1, no. I don't know. I don't think I would have expected them to just, deal with that so easily. But now, it was like more like a nuisance. I like that. I like that I got to see that because, we definitely been warped. We've been warped. Because thinking back about Morality Bites, seeing how strong they are in the future, we were definitely warped. So even though it should have been even more epic, I'm still happy that we got to see them kick ass and just like, Of course, also Engaged and Confused, Paige and Henry got married. Beautiful wedding. I kind of wish that the Ultimate Power wasn't like a guest. But the wedding was still beautiful nonetheless. Yeah, we also got more information that episode about the Ultimate Power and about this key thing. And I thought for a very long time that Billie was the Ultimate Power and Christy was the key. But someone pointed out in the comment section that actually know that, like, the both of them together are the ultimate power. Like the both of them together, not just like Billie, but like both of them together. So that definitely makes more sense. Um, episode 18, the Torn Identity. In that episode, checking my notes because I don't want to rant too much. Yeah, and that is the episode where Paige is in Henry's body, and we definitely have some cute moments of Henry chanting along with Phoebe and Piper. You know, and I really wish we got more scenes of that. We also got a preview of the Ultimate Power, a big one at that. Lily tried to get rid of the charm, was like disgusting again. Well, not really, not rid of the charm ones. I'm saying it wrong, but they weren't listening. The charm ones wanted to get information from a demon, but they wanted to have revenge because parents got killed, and they almost killed the charm ones in the process because they desperately wanted to take revenge. That's what I meant. Also the Phoebe and Coop scene at the end. Ugh. Again, how many times must I be sad? And we also have the Paige and Piper discussion. You know, Paige was like, "No, we can't do this. I can't do that. I can't kill Billie and Christy. They're human. They're still human." And Piper was like, "I don't know about that." And they were like brainwashed to get rid of us. And Paige didn't want it. And I was like, I'm not sure if Piper agrees. But even though I don't want the sisters, to fight, it is interesting to see whenever they have different opinions on a certain topic, and especially on a topic like, hey, are we gonna kill someone or not? Ahem. Episode 20. Wow, Gone with the Witches. Oh my god. That episode was a big one. The episode where the magical community shows their real identity because they are clowns. Wait, what? You didn't understand me? The clowns. After all these years of the Charmed Ones protecting them, helping them out, risking their lives, etc., etc., the magical community, it takes like a few seconds for them to be converted to the wrong side. Like, even though that's extremely frustrating, and I do think it's way too fast, and that's like one of those things that are like, okay, that could have been written better. I did enjoy being angry. Those episodes are fun to react to. They're definitely frustrating, but I don't know, I just liked how big it was and how it felt like episode 21 instead of 20. I like how they got cast out and then have to go to the underworld to hide, and it just felt once again a lot of tension. Like, okay, what are they gonna do now? They're all by themselves. It's once again just the Charmed Ones, like the good old days. No backup from the magical community. It also helps that I kind of had this weird mix of feeling like horrified but also happy in a creepy way about seeing the magical community getting attacked, getting destroyed by the real bad guys. I don't know, it kind of gave me that feeling, or I don't know, it kind of feels like me, watching season 5 kind of got a revenge in this episode because it hasn't been a secret, and I've said this a lot of times, and I'm probably going to say it again like 100 times, that season 5 was kind of rough for me to adjust to. Kind of was a rough like switch for me from like the more dark, little bit more grounded, well, not always, but little more towards more this mythical and like, oh, look at all these magical beings, and it's not just like some witches, but like, oh, we have this whole like, look at us and our magical friends. So seeing that scene was kind of like, oh my god, what are they doing? But also like, oh my god, they're getting rid of them. Oh no. But it was just, I don't know, it just really felt like, oh, this is real. Like, it's once again like shit's getting real feeling. And there were a lot of like very intense moments and like aggravating moments, but then we still also had a little bit of fun. Again, in a twisted way. Like, for example, how Piper, under the influence of the ring, got upset that the fairy got killed, not because in fact the fairy was dead, but because she had to do some vacuuming again. Like, iconic. Um, and then I have episode 21. Like no shit, because oh god, I forgot to write down the title, but I think it was something about Kill Billie or something. But anyways, we have the explosion of the manor. We have the return of the Hollow. We have the Angel of Destiny dropping off Leo in the midst of death and destruction and just like piecing out. And then like one hell of a cliffhanger. Episode 20. Like, I can't imagine having to wait a week for that. But I asked that question and you guys said, yeah, originally we had to wait a week. Episode 21 aired, and after that we had to wait a week before we could watch the finale. Oh, I can't even imagine it, but yeah, I thought it was a terrific episode as well. Definitely. So I do think I pointed out all my favorites. Maybe I forgot a few, but I think those are my favorites ones at the moment, currently. Yeah, I'm wasn't too sure about least favorite episodes. I wrote down two. I have like episode 3, which is Run Piper Run, and episode 8, Battle of the Hexes. So Run Piper Run, I don't think it was like very bad or anything, but it was just kind of bland to me. Kind of felt like Dex, extremely bland, unseasoned. Just uh, the storyline wasn't that interesting to me, and although I liked Piper trying to get a job, it was a little bit weird. Her talk with like her maybe possible future potential employer. Yeah. Uh, like okay, it was nice that you could vent, but I thought it was a little bit weird that he was still interested in hiring her. But hey, we have magic and shit in the show, so shouldn't be too worried about realism and stuff. Um, but also this storyline about oh god, Piper's identity. She used the face of someone who is like a real person, and this person is being targeted by this creep who is obsessed with his looks and plastic surgery. Like, okay, it was all icky, but it wasn't the most interesting icky stuff. Like, so that's why it's on the list. And then Battle of the Hexes, that's kind of cringe. I don't know. I'm not really fond of man vs woman episodes. Um, no, I'm not. Those tend to annoy me, and yeah, this chart one, it just felt weird. I was like, okay, what point are you trying to make? Are we just bashing each other now? I don't get it. Like, couldn't have been a little bit more nuanced. And then Billie had that, I don't know, Billie with the belt, and it was funny that the door kept on being destroyed, I guess, but there wasn't really a lot of fun in that episode to me. Um, Also, oh yeah, there was also the episode where Henry got introduced. Yeah, I didn't like Henry introduction. He didn't make a great impression on me. It just bothered me how he dealt with what's his name, Speed, with Speed's case, and how he refused to listen to them, refused to believe him. And okay, I do think he said that he gave him so many chances and he always screwed them up. But I don't know. It just I don't know. It kind of annoyed me. I think that for me, the main thing that bothered me was when he and Paige were like betting on Speed, whether he will, whether he fixed up his life or not, and that felt very distasteful to me. But luckily, later on, Henry does grow out to being a very adorable, fun, good character. So even though his introduction wasn't that it for me, we still had our, still ended up in a very beautiful relationship with Paige. Favorite character introduced in season 8. I know I just said that I didn't like Henry's introduction, but I do think he's my favorite character that has been introduced in season 8. I do think so. I was also thinking about Coop because I do really adore him. But overall, no, I will go for Henry. I do think Coop didn't have enough episodes. And yeah, you could say the same about Henry. But Henry and Paige still got more development than Phoebe and Coop got. I also like, it has happened before, but even though, maybe that sounds weird, even though that I didn't like his introduction, I always like it a lot more when characters grow on me. It's just more fun. It's more fun as well to look back on it, to have characters that at first you're like, what is with this character? And then later you're like, It's always fun to kind of look back on that and like, hey, when did that change? Um, but I don't know. I liked Henry, and I especially liked him because of his relationship with Paige. I can't deny that. I don't think he's the most interesting character ever. Um, but I do like what we got to see from him, and I like his the growth of their relationship and how he was actually one of the few who didn't get scared away, and not just scared away of magic, not just that he's like, oh, I'm not gonna scream my lungs out, but also that he was interested, that he actually asked questions, wanted to learn things, wanted to know, what exactly does it mean, this magical world, and what is the structure, why are there still certain problems in the world, why can't it just be fixed. I like that. I like that he showed interest. I like that he, wasn't just like, yeah, it's okay because you're hot and that. No, he actually wanted to know not just about her, but about this magical world. He know that in order to fully understand and get Paige, that he also has to get the magical world. And I love that. I love that. And I think, his proposal scene, even though I was like at first like, what the fuck already, I do think it was a beautiful moment. And I do wish that they would have gotten more time. I do wonder about that. It would have been nice to kind of see them being challenged at times, but overall, with the little time that we got, I think the writers did great at that. Yeah, I would go for Henry. Biggest surprise of season 8. Okay, that has to be the most easy question ever. Thank you. But because the biggest surprise is for me definitely the right? The appearance of Chris and Wyatt in the season 8 finale. Duh. Like, I'm still, like, I can't really look back at that reaction of mine. I kind of feel embarrassed, but wow, there are so many emotions that went through me when they just showed up. I was so shocked because I did, I expected them to show up at the final episode. I was like, okay, as far as I know, the actors are on good terms. I'm gonna assume they're gonna bring them back for the finale, right? For like a flash forward. That would be beautiful. But I never would have thought that would actually be a part of the plot. And just the way how they showed up and like, someone messed up the future. I just loved that. It was just great. Just seeing them interact with each other, just seeing them be a part again of the gang. Just having Chris, seeing him like a not evil Wyatt, it's just, it would really help if I see all the drama season 6 again. Just like, oh, we're gonna have that moment though, like it's gonna be alright. Yeah, so that was the biggest surprise. But I'm gonna give you another one of my biggest surprises, because maybe, like I said, most of you will predict this answer. But another biggest surprise is definitely the explosion of the manor. Like, what? Wow. That was also a very big surprise. I don't think I even need to explain that. It is such a huge part of the show. It's like the house is also like a character. And they just like, whoop, it's gone. Very symbolic of it. You're like, oh god, we really now at the end. Love that. Which sister shined the most this season? I wasn't too sure about this question actually, because my first answer would be Piper. Already because of the Avatar and an elder moment, that she demanded explanation, that makes her very badass. I think I always, after season 3, a lot of times I kind of gravitate towards Piper, because a huge reason as well why I love Piper is because of her relationship with Leo. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that she's defined by a relationship with Leo, but it adds to it because I love their relationship so much. So both the characters, I guess, get like bonus points. Is that how I explain it right? Even though the both of them are still interesting and fun at their own right, but the both of them together also gives me like a bonus, like, So I wanted to say Piper because it does kind of feel like she's like the star of season 8. Well, not just season 8, but for a while now. I feel like the earlier seasons, a lot of times Prue was more at the forcenter. While later on it was more Piper. It makes sense because now she was now the older sister. She's no longer like the middle, like the mediator. it makes sense that she would go more on the forefront. And of course, it helps that she started out a little bit more like meek, not as assertive. Well, now she's like sassy as hell, and she doesn't take any bullcrap. Really, like no nonsense. So she is definitely like a standout. She definitely stands out to me. But at the same time, I'm also really proud of Paige, her growth, and how she fully accepts her right lighter side. Honestly, I was very excited in the episode where Sam returns that I'm pretty sure that she was debating about doing social work again. And I was really rooting for that. I was like, please, writers, do it. Please give her back that job. So I was a little bit like flustered when the point of the episode was for her to actually like, no, I shouldn't do like another job because I have to focus on my destiny, my you have to accept my white lighter side and deal with charges and stuff like that. So I was a little bit like flustered, like, oh shit, I actually would have loved for her to still have like a normal job. But at the end of the day, even though I would have loved that, I still like that we have this arc, we have this resolution for her arc because it has been going on for a while. And that not only does she accept that side, not only do we end the show with her being able to full time protect future witches, but also that she found someone who accepts that of her and makes sure that she has the time and energy to do that. So that's also like a shining moment, or no, not just a shining moment, but multiple ones. And then Phoebe, I was frustrated when we started off with season 8 because I'm like, ugh, again with the love interest, again. And we had this Dex guy who was very bland. And again, the only reason why I remember his name is because of the whole sex joke. Like, come on. So it was a little bit like, writers, again, I wouldn't say there is something wrong per se about having a lot of romance storylines, but it just bothers me if that's the only thing for a character. It's the only thing with a character is like, oh, who's going to be her new sweetie, and what kind of drama is going to have with her new sweetie. Yeah, then I do have a problem. Then I do feel like we're having a problem. If we can give Piper other things to do than just a relationship with Leo, or if we can give Paige other things to do than just like who is her newest boo, why can't we do that for Phoebe now? Because a lot of times her storylines were either about, oh god, she can't lose her faith in love again, or, oh god, she must believe that she can have the children she wants to have someday. But then again, it's funny because I'm saying all of those things, but the second half also had a big part of this. Oh, she can't lose her beliefs in love. We were literally sending this Cupid guy who later on turns out to be actually her true love, and that didn't bother me as much. So what's up with that? And then I guess I have to say it's because, Coop was actually a lot more interesting than Dex. And also Phoebe felt to me more and more like season 1 Phoebe throughout the season. Even in the episodes where Dex was still around, there were still moments where I was like, hey, this really reminds me of season 1 Phoebe. And some even commented that her hair even looks more like her season 1 hair. And maybe they did that on purpose, who knows? She just felt like she was getting back to her roots again. So I feel like in season 8, even though at the beginning it was a little bit frustrating, it didn't take that long before I started to love Phoebe more. Because I still cared about Phoebe, but I can't say that she was like, oh, ever my favorite sister or something. And there were some seasons where I was a little bit like, ugh, like I'm over this drama, or I wasn't as happy to get a Phoebe scene. And I don't like that feeling, because I want to have scenes where I'm like, yes, rooting for her. But then a lot of times when she was having scenes, like in season... Was it season 7? I'm already forgetting season. Oh my god. Yeah, season 7, right? I forgot the season. I'm totally blanking out. I don't even remember the season. I think it was season 7. Holy. With what was the guy's name? Was it Leslie? I think Leslie, I think. Where I was totally zoning out. And therefore I couldn't even be invested into Phoebe, because like, ugh, whenever Phoebe shows up, we're gonna have this Leslie crap. But in season 8, there were a lot of moments where I was like, wow. Like, I kind of got this I remembered why I enjoyed it so much in the earlier season. So I love that. So I think all of the sisters got a lot of shining moments. But if I really would have to pick, I would, I would go for Piper. Do you think that the Source being so easily vanquished in a filler ep diminished his importance to the series? Yeah, that was definitely a weird moment. How the Source was just like, hello, goodbye, was a little bit weird. I still feel a little bit conflicted because on the one hand it makes sense for the final season to bring the Source back, but then on the other hand, why would you bring him back to just kill him 5 minutes later? It kind of felt like they were making fun of the Source, and it doesn't really sit right to me. Because he was a huge part of the show for a pretty long time, uh, in different shapes and forms. But like, I wouldn't say he was like my favorite villain, but I do think he's important, and I do think we should treat him in a certain way. And to just have him appear like that, and just so weak and be destroyed like that, it just feels off. It just feels kind of weird. So I'm not sure. I was thinking about this while preparing this review, but I'm still not sure if I want him to either, not appear, just avoid him at all cost, or do have him appear and gave him like multiple episodes. Like, I'm not sure. Like, even if he would have gotten multiple episodes, would they still would have done justice to him? But maybe. Like, part of me is like, maybe we shouldn't have him in the show, but if we would have, I would give him multiple episodes, like at least 3. And maybe maybe he was also a part of this ultimate evil plan. Maybe he was setting things up during those 3 episodes, but we're not really sure what. And then after he's gotten rid of, the Triad steps in, and we have the usual storyline. I'm not sure, because the Triad was like their thing is to service the Source, right? Makes sense if he gets back that he also brings the Triad back. I don't know. So yeah, I do think it diminishes his importance to the series. I do think it kind of feels a little bit like a slap to the face. But I'm not that invested. I'm not that attached to him. So I wouldn't say I'm like crying over it. But I wouldn't be surprised if upon rewatching the show I would get more upset over it. Did you miss Darryl this season, or did you prefer him not to be in this season? Darryl. Just, a character that's really underappreciated in my opinion. But yeah, there you have the question. Would I have liked for him to be in the season? And that's another one of those questions where I can't really easily answer that one. Because I liked him a lot. So that part of me really wanted him to be in season 8, and I gotta think about, hey, maybe we could finally have those bromance moments with Leo, maybe we could finally also have some male friendships on the show. That wouldn't be too shabby. But then the other part of me is like, how exactly would they write him into the season? Because it was really frustrating when they were doing this whole, I don't want to be involved with magic thing, and then they got mad at him, and he got frustrated because they didn't understand him, and then I got frustrated. It was a big frustrated fest. It kind of, there were some moments where I actually found the Charmed Ones, pretty unlikable at some points because of the treatment of Darryl, where it was like, how can you not understand his pain? How can you downplay it? How can you be like, it's not like he got killed. He almost got killed, and in such a horrible way, and he's risking his family as well. Like, again, he doesn't even have powers. He doesn't have some kind of destiny, or, no. He's just a mortal, just a regular mortal, and he's trying to do the right thing as well. So there were definitely times where I was kind of like, why are you so mean to him? And then there were also some times where I was like, why did you forget that he didn't want to be involved? So I don't know, I'm a little bit nervous, because season 8, I did enjoy it overall, but again, I do feel and I understand why a lot of you guys are frustrated with the season. Again, because, network and writing decisions. So I'm not sure what they would have done with Darryl. I'm a little bit scared if he would have been a part of the season, they would have done something weird, or tried to mess him up, or just kill him off. Like I'm so happy they didn't get killed off. Like, I wanted to say this for a long time. I might as well say it, fuck it. But I was very surprised whenever Darryl showed up in a new season, because I always thought from the get go, I was like, and I don't think I ever said this, but I was like, okay, we're having a black character. I would be very surprised if he's going to stay here for the duration of the show. So I was very surprised that he continued to show up, but I was very happily surprised. You know, again, it took me a while before I liked him. Not gonna deny that, but when I finally liked him, I liked him a lot. So I'm very happy that he continued to stay a part of the show, and it always felt kind of a little bit also like a, I don't know, just with him being there, also felt a little bit like honoring Andy as well. Um, I don't want that to be tarnished. So I only would have liked him in season 8 if I would have been guaranteed that he wouldn't die, and that they would give him a satisfying ending and would treat him with dignity. But because you can't have that guarantee, you know, it's not like I have to say that overall I'm happy that he isn't, because I like that he was happy. The last time we saw him, he was happy, and I knew that he wouldn't have been ripped apart between his two families. That he was like, okay, they're safe, and I can now be with my family, knowing that they're all right. Out of Darryl, Andy, or Prue, who would you have chosen to come back for the season, and what storyline would you have liked them to have? Maybe it sounds weird, but definitely not Andy. Because for me, it wouldn't make sense to bring back Andy while there is no Prue. That wouldn't make sense to me. If you're gonna bring Andy back, you're gonna have to bring Prue back as well. You know, I would have loved to see Andy as a White Lighter though. I see more and more people pointing out like, how the hell did Kyle become White Lighter, not Andy? I mean, I'm sure if the actor didn't want to leave, because he wanted to leave, right? Or do I misremember? I'm sure that I'm hoping that they would have made him a White Lighter if he really had to die. I mean, I would have loved for him to see a White Lighter Andy later on, but again, it just wouldn't feel right for me to have him appear in an episode while there's no Prue to be seen. So then we have Prue and Darryl. Darryl I already answered, but if I have to say with this question, you know, with what storyline I would have liked them to have, so implying that I would have to get to say about their fates in the season, then I would go, yeah, then I would go what? I thought I had to answer, and I was like, wait, what? Like, of course I would have loved to get Prue back. No shit, she's my favorite, like always. But somehow I just like she would come back for one season. I'm not sure how to explain this without sounding off, but I kind of feel like, okay, I don't know, maybe it sounds weird, but I rather would have liked Prue for like one episode in the finale, or like 2 or 3, instead of a whole season. Is that weird for someone who loves Prue as much as I do? Am I fake now? I just feel if we would have gotten Prue back in the first episode of the season, that she would be there for the whole season, that the show, I don't know, all the attention would just be on Prue instead of, I guess, all of them, instead of the charmed ones, instead of, you know, we would, I don't know. So I don't think I would want to have Prue for like the whole season, but I would have liked her to be there for a few episodes. I would have loved for her to be a part of the finale. You know, when they were time traveling, that they would time travel to maybe season 3 and get Prue. That they need her as well to deal with the ultimate power. I'm sure they could find a way, or maybe they like we can't have Prue because that would bring an imbalance to the power of 3. If they could have done that, maybe, you know, Ghost Prue, because I remember that I think it was their mom who said like, no, you can't see Prue right now because you have to process this. You're not ready to see her, and Piper was upset, rightfully. So it would have been nice if now we would got to see that point. They were like, okay, now you guys can, and Prue as well. The both of you are ready, and we will get to see Prue again. So I don't know, maybe like Ghost Prue helping them out. I'm just very bad at questions like what kind of storyline. Like I'm definitely not a writer like my sister is, but I no. Um, so I would say Prue, but not for the whole season. But it would be nice for multiple episodes. Sister ranking based on season 8. Okay. I'm always bad at the rankings, but based on season 8, at this moment, I would say first Piper, then Paige, and then Phoebe. And I think I explained why in the question about which sister shined the most. What did you think of Phoebe this season? Um, yeah, I think I already kind of answered this. So in short, I would say, um, overall, I loved her a lot of season 8. It took some episodes. Um, you know, I think she's one of the characters that relate to the least, and maybe that's why she's never really my favorite. Um, but she really felt like classic Phoebe a lot of times season 8, and it also helps that we got some resolution. That I kind of felt like, okay, we got all the love drama and stress and all of that, but it did lead to this. It did lead to her finishing, with a freaking Cupid. Um, but other than that, let's forget about the romance thing. I just loved how a lot of times, she was trying to understand Billie. A lot of times, she was the one able to kind of reach Billie, to try to get to understand her point of view, to understand where exactly it went wrong. That just really gave me, again, Phoebe of the early season vibes. I just loved how she used to bond with the innocents, try to understand their pain, or how exactly things ended up the things they were or are. And she did that a lot of times with Billie. A lot of times she helped me understand Billie through her eyes. And that's what I just really love about her. I don't know, I don't really think Paige and Piper quite succeeded at that. Because, not that I didn't try, I just think Phoebe's more of a natural at that. Um, so that's what I really adored of her in this season, though. So yeah, I don't know. This season, I feel like on rewatching as well, I would be less frustrated at the start with Dex and all that stuff. So it wouldn't really be a big issue for me. So thinking about that, I think overall this is one of my favorite seasons of Phoebe. For Phoebe, definitely. Yeah, yeah. Did you like where the sisters ended up? All the families, also Piper opening a restaurant and Paige training future generations of Wildlighters. I'm very happy with how they ended up, and I'm happy that they all got lots and lots of children. I believe they all have 3, right? Which is also a nice touch. I wish I got to also see, I guess, like the grown-up version of Piper's daughter. Um, but or got to see more. I don't know. I kind of want to know what her bond is with her 2 brothers. But I like that they all got lots and lots of children, especially for Phoebe. I was like, finally, she has the children she always wanted. And like I said, also adored Paige being able to fully embrace her destiny and have a loving and supportive husband. And what I was like, I think one of the things I was most excited about is definitely, Piper being able to open a restaurant. Because even though I do love P3, overall, I would say I liked Quake more. I just loved Quake. I just loved the situations she had to deal with, and how she had to learn to, speak up, uh, come up, speak up, stand up for herself. Just those little challenges she had in the restaurant, and see her grow to that. See her learning how to manage with like stupid bosses and stuff like that. I don't know. There were a lot of those moments in Quake that I feel we didn't really get to have in P3, because I love what P3 stands for. I love that it reminds us, of the good times and of the times where we still had Prue, and I love that. But other than what it stands for, I don't know. It was a nice location, but I don't think I was like that attached to the club, other than the idea of it, other than what it stands for. The Quake was just more. I think it was more interesting to me overall. Yeah. So no, I'm happy that how they ended up. I'm happy that they all got their families that they wanted. They're still all together, all bonded together, and that they can actually be themselves, because that's something that bothered me about season 7. I did think it was a good finale, but again, not a good series finale. I wanted them to be able to be themselves, fabulous, charmed, all of that, and not like, oh, this is my, like, here I am with my fake face and fake identity, and I can't be myself during God knows how many years. No, that didn't sit right for me. Um, no, I adored it. I'm very happy with how it ended. Did you miss Sheridan this season? I can't even I can't even put into words how much I miss Sheridan in this season. It's quite appalling, really, how she isn't a part of it at all. Like, how could you do that? She was such a huge character. Like, the moment she stepped into the scene, it was like some kind of big light. Ugh. Beautiful inside and outside. Seriously? Just the way how she got killed by Zanku. How could you do that? I missed her a lot. Like, imagine. They should have included her in this season. And she should have been... we had the ultimate power, right? And we have, like, the charmed ones. But Sheridan, she had to be, like, the ultimate god. You're feeling that, right? You're feeling that? The ultimate god. And then she would both warn the charmed ones that they have to be less selfish or whatever. But she would also kick, like, the ultimate power's ass. And then, yeah, we would all party. We would all, like, wear flowers on our head. And, like, oh my god. Like, queen. Oh my god, queen. So, yes, I do miss her a lot. How do you feel about Billie and Christy as far as the storyline and their acting? Huh. There you go. Yeah, how do I feel about them? I feel like it's a nice idea. I like it. I like the concept of having the charmed ones, 3 sisters, well, currently, fighting against another set of sisters. Evil sisters. I like that concept. I like the idea. I just don't think the execution was always that great. But overall, I feel like I enjoyed it more than the majority, because I did see a lot of comments on both YouTube and Patreon, people who can't stand season 8, but then I also noticed that a lot of people seemed like, I feel like that the first half, a lot of people weren't that enthusiastic about season 8, and then midway, more people were like, okay, we're kind of enjoying this ride, kind of enjoying this roller coaster. But then there were kind of mixed reactions between, about Billie and Christy. There are some people who they don't get the hate about them, and others who can't stand them. I feel I'm kind of in the middle. I wouldn't say I love them, but I also wouldn't say I absolutely hate them. Like, don't get me wrong, I do hate them, but I don't hate watching them. Like, I did find it interesting, and I kind of enjoyed, looking at them with full of hate, of anger, and something. What I do think is that, if you're asking about acting, is that Billie, was miscasted. I don't think she was that good. I think if we're talking about humor, I guess she was alright. But if we're talking about dramatic, I don't know. I don't know. Like, the infamous mascara tear, what the hell was up with that? It's kind of a shame. I feel if they would have gotten a better actress, or maybe like an acting coach for her, that could have helped a lot more, because we have these big moments. Like, for example, we have the moment where their parents get killed. Their parents get killed, and Billie's giving me nothing? Okay, maybe a little bit too harsh. Like, she tried, I guess. I'm assuming she tried, the actress. But I just didn't feel anything. I felt a little bit awkward. It's like, wow, oh my god, her parents died. Like, oh no, how is she going to react? And then, has she reacted yet? I don't know, I see her cry, but I don't feel it. It just felt forced to me. And I kind of wonder what would have happened if they would have gotten another actress. Again, it would have solved, all the writing issues, but maybe it would have helped delivering some of the emotional moments to us. So I do think Christy was better casted than Billie. I wouldn't say the actress who plays Christy is like the best actress ever, but I do think a lot of times she does deliver, that she does give what we need. It helps that her range isn't as wide. I mean, for the of the character, a lot of times the character is just pissed off and looking evilly and trying to scare us, and that's what she does a lot of times, and so that works. I mean, at least for me, like I honestly, it took me a while before I didn't feel so intimidated by her. She's like, oh, she just looks at me. Well, not me, but kind of felt that way. Like she wants to drink my blood. Like, and not in a sexy way, but like, yeah, that definitely scared me. Um, Also, I thought she was believable. Before the parents got killed, I thought it was believable that you could see that she was starting to be swayed. That she was a little bit like maybe she would go to the good side, you know. And part of me kind of wishes that we had an episode of that instead of seeing how she was a little bit like tempted by the good side, and then whoop, immediately killing off the parents. I kind of wish we got like one more episode. Even though that I don't find the parents interesting, I do think the writers could have done a better job, or at least tried more to make us feel about the sisters, instead of just immediately kind of like, oh, he's the sister who's obviously evil. Like, come on, I think most of us were like, she's evil. And then like a few seconds where like, hey, maybe she can be good. Oh, never mind, parents are dead, now she's gonna be pissed. Um, so yeah, I don't know. In terms of acting, I would say Christy, the actress who plays Christy, worked more for me, because a lot of times, again, she had to deliver her lines with such a big feeling of hate and disgust and resentment, and she did that well. But Billie, um, I think okay, except the very dramatic scenes, and it doesn't help that we could compare her with like the far superior Rose and Alyssa and Holly. I mean, they're like a whole different category. So yeah. Um, but the storyline again. So okay, what do I say? I would say for me, overall, it did kind of work. If I don't overthink it, I feel this season can fall apart if you rewatch it a few times and if you really think about it. Because someone in Discord, I'm not sure, I think it was Amanda, someone in Discord pointed out, like, okay, why exactly did they only kidnap Christy? And I was like, wait, hold up. I didn't even think about that. Like, huh? Wait, I was like, wait, did they explain why they only took Christy and not Billie? That's what I mean. Like, if you don't think too much, then I think it holds up pretty okay. If you try to really immerse yourself into the emotional states and stuff like that, and that the drama that we get out of like sisters vs sister fights, it can be fun. But if you really start to think, things are really gonna fall apart very quickly. Um, so I think for me it did work out at the end, but because I found my own enjoyment in it, I guess. Because there are definitely moments that didn't work. Again, like the emotional moments, not just of the parents, but also at the finale. Once again, Billie having to kill her sister should have been a huge, shocking, dramatic moment. But it kind of turned into a funny one. And I don't think it's just because of the, in my opinion, I'm sorry, atrocious acting, but just also the way, like how quickly it happened and how it was shot. Just like we have this fireball, like whoop, whoop, back to you, gone. Like it was just what? um, yeah. Mm, so again, I feel like concept was pretty nice, but that's a problem. It's pretty much stayed like a concept. It should have been. They should have improved it more. They should have worked it out more. They should have made it a few more rewrites. Should have maybe casted someone else as Billie, and also make us more care. At least for me, and I know maybe someone would like, oh hell no, because that would maybe mean more screen time for them, which is already a slap in the face for the charmed ones. Uh, but I don't know. I wish I could have been more like, um, conflicted about this whole ordeal. More like, oh no, like I don't want the Charmers to kill them, not just because killing is bad, but also because they're deep down they're like good people, or like it's, I don't know. That's my messy answer. Let's move on. Do you think that Billie was a good addition to the show or a waste of space? I mainly like the addition of Billie because of the concept of the sisters face sisters thing. Other than that, I wouldn't say I'm a fan. Like, honestly, I was pretty annoyed at the flash forward compilation, where we see that Billie is taking care of Paige her kids, or like, no, not Paige her kids, Phoebe her kids, I mean, two of her kids. I was a bit like, what the fuck are you still doing here? I don't know, I wouldn't be able to trust her, like, what the fuck? Like, I should have discussed this with the previous question, but like, I like the concept, but just the reason for all of this, just how quickly Billie was convinced about, oh yeah, it's totally alright to kill the child ones because they're, oh god forbid, they're selfish. Like, could they please try? Like, what the fuck? How could you just, I don't understand why the writers thought it would just be enough to just try to say like, oh, the child ones, they care about their own lives. They want to have a certain life. They don't just want to kill demons. They want a love. They want children. They want to have some family time. How the hell does that make them selfish? I really thought it was a missed opportunity. I thought they did a little bit better in the tribunal episode. Like, not perfect, because still a lot more like, that's not fair. But I thought it was better than here. I was really confused with the whole, they're selfish, and they deserve to be dead. It makes sense that Christy would say bullshit like that, but why the hell was Billie buying it so easily? You haven't seen your sister in 16 years, and you're just gonna believe her? Oh no, make it better. You haven't seen your sister in 16 years, and she was kidnapped by bad guys, and she was probably brainwashed, and you're just gonna buy all this crap? No. No. So yeah, the reasons for their whole thing was stupid. So no, they really had to come up with a better reasons for them to want to destroy the charm. Was at least to Billie. So Billie, I do think I don't think she was a good addition. I would lean more towards waste of space category, but then we would have the sister face sister thing, which I am fond of. Yeah, I don't think she had a lot to contribute other than the sisters arc. I don't think the character was that interesting. Yes, she had good moments. Yes, there were episodes was like, okay, I kind of like her this episode, but then because of the whole crap fest towards the end of the season, I can't really appreciate those moments a lot, because now I'm like, how the fuck do you have those nice moments with the charm ones, and it's gonna take you like a few seconds for you to just totally switch and be like, they deserve to be killed. I deserve to be the one to give justice. Nah. Also, who would you have preferred to have been the big bad of the final season? The Triad, Billie and Christy, or Zanku? Yeah, I have to go with the sisters. I would have liked to see Zanku again, but no. I'm probably pissing off a lot of viewers now, but I don't know, I can't say it enough. I like the concept of Billie of Christy. I like the concept of that. I like that them, trying to get rid of the charmed ones. I just wish they would have a better motivation, or at least have better examples of the charmed ones being selfish, or of them being dangerous. I really wish we could have done better with that. I mean, that was one of the many reasons, but I don't want to keep on repeating myself. So I would still go with Billie and Christy, I have to say. But then I kind of see Billie and Christy. Yeah, definitely. Oh, I do think the asker meant that. Definitely combine with the Triad. I like that. I do wish we got to see more of the Triad though. Yeah, seeing more of the Triad doing their well, not really stupid, but their creepy plans. Did you think Billie would stay as part of the main cast till the end? Billie was meant to be the lead in her own Charmed spin-off. Would you have watched that spin-off? No. No, I don't think I would have watched that spin-off. I think I would only maybe watch the first episode if literally, but like literally all my patrons would like beg me to do it. But even then, I very much doubt it. So like I said, I just don't find it that interesting. I don't think I hate her that much, even though I still wish she wasn't part of the Flash Forwards. Um, I just don't. I don't think she deserved the spin-off. No way. No way. I really don't think she deserved it. And I just don't really see like what did they want her to do? You literally like she was the ultimate power together with her sister. What does that even mean? I can't even envision the spin-off. How? Like what about the child ones? You're just gonna pretend they don't exist anymore because why the hell she's just going to be estranged from them? It doesn't I don't know, it doesn't make sense. Like, oh no, I killed my sister and I had my mascara tear, and now I'm like half the ultimate powers. But no, it doesn't sound interesting. Nope. Oh, I almost forgot to answer the other part. Did you think she would stay as part of the main cast till the end? Huh. I think when I started out, I wasn't too sure. Because I think she was like part of the main of the credits in the first episode already. So at that point, I don't think I would have expected her to last the whole season. But after episode what was it? I think around the midway point, I did think like, yeah, I think she's gonna stay here till the end. Um. So initially, no, and then after a few episodes, like, I think she's gonna stay here till the end, and I'm not sure how to feel about it. How did you feel about how Paige learned to heal? I expected, for that to happen sooner, actually. I thought and my memory's kind of fuzzy, but I think at one point she channeled Leo's powers to heal. I thought that would kind of be like the start of her discovering her own healing powers, but that didn't really happen. So I was very surprised, and I actually thought at some point it would really happen. But it happened, so I was very surprised. But I'm also happy with that. Um, I do think I appreciate that moment more now because at that time I don't think I was quite. No, I don't think I was already a fan of Henry at that point in the episode. So I did like that moment, and I like that. Again, love is the trigger. But I was like not really that excited about them being an item. So now, having watched the whole season, I think if I would watch that scene again, I would have a lot more fun with it and maybe even more emotional about it. So I do like that she that she now knows how to heal, and it makes sense for her whole journey about accepting her being a white lighter. Um, so yeah, I would say at the time I was like happy with it, and now I'm like about it. What was your first impression when the mansion exploded? I kind of feel like inserting my face about how did I feel about this moment. I think my face, or maybe even the title of the episode, pretty much sums it up. Total shock. Total shock. But even though it was very messed up, I'm happy we got that moment. I'm happy we got that shot. It was epic. It was epic. What did you think of those visual effects of the explosion? I think those were pretty good. I like that before that, how we got to see both the Charmed ones and the sisters flying away. Well, the evil sisters flying away, and we saw them like being launched through the how the how do you call that? Roof, no, not roof, but like the top of the I don't know how you saw them launched to all different kind of floors and levels, and I was like, oh, like what the hell, what are they doing with the house? And then I think right at the moment where I was like, don't destroy the house, like right mid that sentence they destroyed the freaking house. And I just loved the whole visuals, the explosions. I thought it looked good. I actually was surprised at how good it looked because I constantly was being reminded, not just by the comments but also just by seeing what kind of decisions they were taking, and by ripping Leo away, blah blah blah. I just really thought they wouldn't have enough money to do something quite epic. I thought they're probably going to save all the money they still have for like the finale, like for the final episode. But they already used a lot of it there, and I think it was a wise decision. What did you think of the totally destroyed set? I was wondering. I was like, did they really just destroy everything? And I think that I'm not sure if someone already also told me, but I also read yesterday, I believe, that they filmed this episode after the finale because of the destroyed set. I was like even more like, holy, they were definitely not kidding around. Um, so again, it's like both. It's like epic, but also sad because I don't want them to destroy sets. I want them to have those sets. I wish the sets were part of like it's supposed to be like Paramount, but like I wish people could like visit it. I know that you can visit the house, but I wish the set as well was part of some kind of studio tour instead of like you know kaput, gone. Do you think their storyline about why Leo had to go away made sense in the end? Sorta, kinda. I I wanted to scream no, but I don't think that will be honest because I'm pretty sure that at some point one of my theories was that the Angel of Destiny had to take away Leo to make it that Piper would be willing to kill the ultimate power. And I guess that was sort of right because even though it wasn't Piper who turned out to kill the ultimate power in the I guess in the second version of events, um, she still had to die. And Paige, for example, she was pretty much for a long time like, no, we can't do this. Yeah, also Phoebe, of course, we can't do this. They're humans. It's illegal. And still, what the hell was with the illegal argument though? Like it was like, was it episode 20 or 21? I'm not sure. Or one of the episodes, Christy was like saying with a huge attitude, like, you can't kill me because that would be illegal. I was like, why did I just hear that word? Are we really talking about whether it's legal or not? I'm sorry, I really hope your main concern about, killing someone is not legality. It's not about, oh, is this gonna make me end up in prison? Like, if you're gonna have some kind of purge situation, I'm still not interested in killing someone. I'm just saying, like, am I wrong? What the fuck? Um, but the thing is, they were definitely not thrilled about having to kill Christy or Billie or and Billie. Um, so it turns out it makes sense then that they would, that they felt like they had to get rid of Leo so that Piper would be prepared to take the extra step to go over that line. It does feel icky though. It does feel icky. I'm not really used to uh I mean, I wouldn't expect for like the good guys to have to be willing to kill a person even though they're bad and to kill a person in order to save the day. It kind of feels icky. It kind of felt gross that the Angel of Destiny expects that of them. Um, but at the same time, you could also say, but yeah, it's not really what she expected because she wanted, like, it's still icky, but she didn't want Piper to kill her or the Charmed Ones. She wanted Billie to do it because the second time when Billie killed her sister, the Angel of Destiny said like this was the way it was supposed to go. I was like, okay, so it was supposed to be Billie who killed her sister, and then we no longer have the ultimate power because they're no longer together. Wow, that's that's sick. um, so then I'm like, okay, but then Piper didn't kill her, so why the hell was it necessary to get Leo away? So that it's a mess. I don't know. At the end of the day, I think it makes sort of sense for the motivation, but at the other hand, I'm still like, it wasn't really necessary. Couldn't we have just said like, hey, Piper girl, honey, if you don't do this, everyone's dead. Yeah, including your honey, of course. Like, why? I don't understand why that would have been sufficient. But with the shit that the writers had to go through, with the disrespect that they got from the network and the budget bull, I don't want to be too hard. So all in all, I think it makes enough sense. Enough sense for me to still enjoy it. What do you think the season would be like if the network didn't lose budget? If they didn't lose budget, I think in the first place we would have a lot of more, past enemies in the season. Because we did I feel like season 7 sometimes had more throwbacks because again they assumed it would be the last season. Like for example, like where the hell was Barbas? I'm still disappointed we didn't get to see him. I was like, wait a minute, we didn't see Barbas? Like after I wiped away my tears after recording the final episode, like where the hell was Barbas? So I think we would get to see him. Maybe we also got to see Zanku again. Um, what more? Hmm. I wouldn't have been surprised if Cole would have showed up once again, even though I wouldn't want that because I liked his final appearance, but I would have been surprised if he showed up again as well. Of course, we also would have a lot more magic, I believe, a lot more magical effects, even more explosions. Um, of course, the most important difference will be that Leo would have been gone. So then I think they would still have the ultimate battle thing, but then they would also realize like, hey, it's not actually necessary to kill her husband. Lol. Um, so I think so. In short, I would say if they would have more budget, I would expect more magic, more explosions, more actors from like past seasons, um, more Leo, um, and probably probably more what? Maybe more premonitions as well. More premonitions, and maybe we would actually get to see, I don't know, use Phoebe more of her powers that we had in the past. I know a lot of them, but like I'm still kind of confused, like whenever she has a power and when not. And of course, that more budget, we might as well had would have had a picture of Prue. Probably not, but still. So I guess a bigger scale, more ambitious. I mean, but at the same time, maybe even more messy. I don't know, because I'm really wondering what would have happened if Leo was there. I can't really see Leo getting behind, killing them. But at the same time, Leo also went through some dark changes at times. So I don't know. If you could have written Prue into the series finale, what would you have wanted her to do or say? Like I said earlier, I'm not sure. Like it depends. Like a part of me wanted her to be a part as a ghost, like Gramps, was a lot of times. Or then I'm like, oh, they should have brought her back from the past, and then she helps them out with the power of three, and she gets to meet Paige. Then the other me is like, oh, maybe it would have been nice as well. She was just like in the video I watched in my celebration of Charmed. If we could have seen her literally close the door. I don't know. I what would have wanted her to do or to say. I don't really have big demands. I just would want her to have that moment with her sister, and especially have a special moment with Piper because they felt the most close to me. Get to see Paige and acknowledge that she saw what they've been through, that she's very proud of them. That even though she wasn't allowed for a long time to see them, that now the elders, I guess, got of their. I don't know. Not sure if all the elders even involved. I don't know. That even though she wasn't allowed to see them, that she's also always been a part of their lives. That she see what they've been through, and that she's so proud of their growth, both as witches and as women. Um, I guess mainly that conversation, mainly that talk, just to see her so proudly of them, and I guess just so an event of a lot of tears, but a lot of happy tears, and just you know and also like when there maybe a moment where we having all this moments, she's celebrating that they all found love and etc. And then maybe Piper would be like, it's not fair and you deserved it too, or something like that. And then maybe Prue would be like, who says that I didn't found love? And then maybe we get to see like Ghost Andy, like waiting for her in the background or smiling. I don't know, just that she, even though she passed away, that she reunited with Andy, that she still got that. That would be nice. So again, mostly on an emotional level. So that would have been great because the more like I would love that because I think if she would have been brought back to life, that would, I don't know. It would feel off to me. She would have been brought back to life, and we couldn't even see how she would like fit back into their worlds. So maybe something like that. Again, I'm not a writer, so sorry. Would you change anything about the series finale? I think this is a question where my answer can change a lot during, I can change a lot, and it kind of depends on the day. But for now, the things that I've written down is, I think if I could change anything about the finale, I would have got an acting choice for Casey, I believe, before she had to do the crying scene. Um, I also would have included more, well, not even more, but like pictures of Prue at the end. Also, a compilation would have been nice, as I saw in one of the fan videos. I would have liked. Now, I'm not sure if it would have liked it at that moment per se, but I would have loved to also got a compilation of their past. I'm not sure how that would fit in, where exactly in the episode, but a not too long, nice compilation of their growth through the years. That would have been awesome. Um, and then with the pictures of Prue, if that wasn't possible, then maybe and I'm not sure, maybe some people will think that's too sad, but I would have loved it as well if we also got like a few shots in the flash forward of the whole family, including the kids, um you know celebrating their lives, celebrating love, at Prue's tombstone, just all remembering Prue, all honoring her, but at the same time showing us that, even though that something terrible happened, they still found a way to move on, to not forget her, of course, but include her. Um, so maybe some people will think that would be too sad, but I would have loved it. I'm not asking for like a 5 minute scene, but just like a few, like a shot or two, just seeing them at their tombstone. And I mean that would have cost them money, right? Because there's not a picture or anything. So I would have liked that as well. Um, Also, I personally would have loved to not see Billie in the flash forward, but at the same time, I also know it makes I don't know. I'm also wondering what if I wouldn't have seen her. Now at least I know that she didn't went alone, and once again is going to be manipulated by evil. Now I know she's going to stay on the good side, stay on the good path. So, kind of mixed about that. Um, hmm. Yeah, I think that those are the things that I'm remembering of now. Do you think an adult Chris and Wyatt spin-off would have been a good idea, as some fans were hoping for? Hell yes! Hell yes! Definitely. I'm still disgusted. I'm still disgusted that I about the fact that we didn't get that spin-off because of Supernatural. Like, what? I don't understand. Why could you not have both Supernatural and the spin-off? Like, we have like 5,000 doctor shows, like medical shows, and you're telling me we can't have multiple shows about, I don't know, brothers fighting supernatural evils? Are you kidding me? It's not like Chris and Wyatt are doing some kind of road trip, like eternal road trip. Like, chill, it's not the same. Yeah, I know there are more differences. So I think that would have been an awesome idea. I am a little bit, like, even though I'm very enthusiastic, I'm always a little bit worried about, okay, if you are gonna do a spin-off, how are you gonna address like certain characters that don't appear? Because I don't think, I'm pretty sure that the actresses were all done with Charmed. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they were all like, okay, it's over now. I'm not sure if they would still appear in the spin-off, and I wouldn't want a spin-off where it turns out that, oh, they're all passed away or something. I don't know. But I love that idea. I definitely would have watched that spin-off. Oh my god. You all know how much I grew to love Chris. Like, oh my god. But I also really liked Wyatt. I really like him a lot as well. You know, I from what the interactions we got to see of them were all great. They have a nice dynamic. Um, I believe them as brothers. They play off each other well, and they can both act. And I actually can see some potential for storylines, and they're already, especially Chris, in my opinion, but especially Chris, a very, layered character, very established character. Um, but I do think there's also a lot for Wyatt as well. I am a little bit worried about, okay, but would they then make Wyatt weaker? Because they did make him very strong, like extremely strong. So I'm a little bit like, okay, how would you do that with the show? Like, wouldn't it be a little bit too easy? But then maybe again they would just give us very strong enemies. Um, no, I'm very like, oh, it would have been awesome, definitely. Do you think that it was time for the show to end? What a question. Yeah, was it time for the show to end? Huh? I don't know. I f- like, I'm sorry if I'm constantly repeating myself or sound like a broken record. But I feel like once again there are like two sides to that question. Like, one half of me is like, no, I want more charms. It can never be over, never. But then the other part of me is like, at some point it has to end. And overall, generally speaking, I think most shows don't need like a ton of seasons. Like the more seasons you get, the more chance you'll there is that the show will be dragged out or will jump the shark. And I know that I do notice that now I can just look up stuff for the most part, except the comments, of course. But I do see that there are definitely a whole lot of people who don't even care about the seasons after season 4. Like, luckily, I don't belong to that category. I still had a blast after season 3 and after season 4. Season 5 was definitely a little bit rocky for me, but I feel like if I rewatch that season, I wouldn't be surprised if it would be a lot higher on my list. But overall, I think the show still had a lot to offer. I still were a lot of great character moments, emotional moments, story moments, a lot of things that were explored. And I do think, that the first uh, yeah, I do think the beginning of Charmed is better than the final season of Charmed. I do think that. But I am happy that we did got more. I am happy that we didn't stop after the season 3 or 4. But yeah, do I think that it was time to end? I think if I would just forget about my emotional connection to the show, then I would have to say, yeah, I do think it was time to end. I do think, you know I don't know. I just can't really envision what we would do after the season. I already had that after season 7. Like, okay, what are we gonna do now? And okay, they still managed to surprise me, but then they were kind of sloppy at times with the writing. So I'm a little bit worried if we would have even more seasons, that then it would totally like be a clusterfuck. Um, I rather wanted to stop now that there was still like passion left, especially from the actors, that they can still feel their drive, in the scenes, than risk that we would have like 5 more seasons and then maybe sense that they were like, ugh, when is this shit over? Maybe they would never have that feeling though. Maybe they would never have that. Maybe I'm just worried about other shows and actors where I got that feeling that they're like tired of the character. Um, but I think 8 seasons. I think that's a good number. I think it's a good number. Um, in an alternative world where we would have 10 seasons, I would have been surprised if I would say the same thing when we were like in season 10. But yeah, I think it was a good time to end. But I wouldn't have mind if we got a more. Although I would hold my heart like, oh, this gotta be good, right? Yeah. Then I have some questions, like some general questions about the show. I'm gonna try to not answer them for like a very long time, because I do want to make like a serious review at some point. But once again, at some point I do mean that it could take a long while. I'm not sure yet. Compared to season 1, what are the biggest differences to the show that you noticed, liked, or disliked? Biggest differences. I mean, again, I would say, Phoebe. A lot of times after those early seasons, I didn't really understood Phoebe as a character anymore, or I didn't really feel like rooting for her. I just thought she was a lot more likable in the early seasons. But if we just talk about season 1, it's not that she just did that in season 1, but I really enjoyed how Phoebe used to bond with the innocents a lot of times. I'm not saying she never did that in later seasons, but I think she did that a lot more in season 1. And I just love seeing her, empathize with those innocents. But what I also liked about that is that it also gave us a chance to get to know more, to see more, I guess, what's behind the person. Instead of just like, oh, here is this character, we can't let the character die, even though I don't know the character and I don't really care. Um, just in those little moments we had with Phoebe, we actually, or at least I, started to like worry, like, oh, geez, I don't want this. We have to do something about it. Not just because it's the right thing to do it, because I'm really liking this person, or I feel for this person, and I really enjoyed the season 1. Um, Also, of course, that it feels more grounded. We actually I feel like there's way more talk about the normal parts of their life, normal aspects, the non-magical ones. Like, how do you deal with like annoying people at work? How do you get respect at work? Um, how how do you, like, even things like the chores, or however you pronounce that, like who's gonna do the chores at home, Like, what if two of the sisters have jobs and one not? Does that mean that that sister has to do everything? Like, even talks about that. Discussions about the father. Like, what if one of them wants to have contact with the father, the other not? There's so many moments that are way more relatable, I would say. Like, oh, I don't need magic to understand what this means. Like, I enjoy all the magic in the show and all of that, but a lot of times they're not. It's not like I can really relate. It's not like, oh yeah, I totally understand what it means. I totally know how it feels to have to go to a leprechaun and ask for some luck or something. Like what? um, Also that it feels, I don't know, like the tone is more darker. Like even the way it's filmed, kinda. Like maybe it was just because like it's older, the older seasons, I guess, but it feels a little bit more grainy. It kind of had more like atmosphere at times. I feel a lot of times with the newer seasons, it felt way more light, not just in terms of storyline because we did still have some dark moments, but just also how the atmosphere felt. It was like literally and emotionally felt more light than the earlier seasons. Um, it also helped that that a lot of enemies actually had like different makeup or prosthetics. Um, like the Wendigo. I keep saying the Wendigo, but I just love the Wendigo like in season one. And then later on, a lot of times when we have demons, they just look like humans with like shitty clothing. Like now I understand that they didn't have money, but it's really frustrating. I just really loved their looks in the first season. Getting to see the designs of monsters or like the demons. Um, we didn't really get that anymore, or not that much. Also, just more the feeling of the Chants are on their own. That they're really feeling getting this sense like, oh god, like I know that they're figuring out what to do and if they really want this destiny, but do they really like have a lot of a say? Because we only have the chart ones. Well, later on, we keep getting more and more like mythical creatures and like fairy tale stuff, and that took a while. And I was like, yeah, okay. Like normally I would enjoy the expansion of lore and stuff like that, but not in that way. I wanted more of like it's just the chart ones, and then you have the demons, and that it instead of this whole big ass magical community. I mean, it's not like they offered a lot of help, but I mean a lot of times, but still. Um, and it's not like we never had any more of the season like more. We did have them, like I explained, like I said before, like the fridge moment, but also season 8 at the fireplace with I believe Phoebe and Paige. There's still those moments, and also in earlier seasons, and like for season 6, one of my favorite seasons, I adored the whole big focus on the family, and even though that Chris was a pretty new character, he quickly you know when we found out about him, he quickly felt really like oh my god, it makes sense that he's Piper to Leo's son. This feels right, and I like this whole. Just I don't know, it felt like a very big focus on family. I just loved that, and that's what I really liked about season one as well in the early seasons. Um, I just really wish that the later seasons, even though overall I still had a good time, were more like the early seasons. I do like I would say I wish that the original showrunner wasn't like hushed away, like had to. I don't know. I wish the original showrunner stayed. I just loved their like the vision more of the original creator, showrunner, than the new one. But I still had a good time though. I still had a good time. So I think that's kind of my answer. Were you happy with Piper's character development from meek mediator, middle sister to series lead protagonist? What protagonist? Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been ages since I watched the early seasons, but I do remember liking Piper. Um, rooting for her, trying to motivate her to come out of her shell, even though I know like the characters can't hear me, like I'm just screaming at the TV. Um, but I liked her then, but I loved her. I love her even more now. I love the development. Even though if I could have chosen it, if I could have changed it, Prue never would have disappeared. I can appreciate about what the effect was on Piper as a character. Um, I do think maybe it sounds sick, but I do think it was to the benefit for Piper. You get what I mean? I don't think if Prue would have stayed, we would have gotten the Piper we have today. And it's not. I mean, she already got more and more sassy and badass and more um, confident. But I think it really went into overdrive when that horrible event happened to Prue. Um, so I'm no, so I'm happy with that development, and I think it felt organically. I don't think it was like, oh, now I'm shy and now like badass. Like it went, it happened gradually, and you already have those steps in the first season. It feels believable, and it helps that Holly's such an amazing actress. So it works. It works. I think Piper, um, I like that. I didn't always agree with her. I mean, that is for all the seasons, by the way. They're definitely not perfect characters. They definitely have their flaws. But I mean, doesn't everyone have flaws? um, yeah. No, no, I like Piper. I like Piper a lot, and I do also enjoy that she's a huge part of the finale. I know that the reason behind it is because Elisa and Rose had other commitments, but I think it works quite nicely. I don't think it would have worked as nicely if it was like, for example, Phoebe or Paige. It makes sense that Piper is the one, starting this, and yeah, it makes sense. Whose wedding was the best? I know this is not really answering the question, but I first of all want to say that the most disturbing wedding was definitely the dark wedding of Phoebe and Cole. Like, what the like, I sometimes still, like, I don't have, like, nightmares about it. That was really a moment. Like, what the fuck? It was an iconic wedding. Oh god, I was starting to lose my voice. Sorry about that. um, but yeah, to really answer your question, the best wedding. I would say the best wedding is Paige and Henry's wedding, but my favorite wedding is the Piper Leo wedding. For Paige and Henry, I just love it. It's a big, beautiful wedding. I love how at the last minute they turned the engagement party into the wedding. Um, I don't know, it was just great to see Paige with that big smile, beautiful dress, and I loved I guess how they dressed, decorated the place. I think it was pretty much perfect. Um, I would have preferred that Sam was there as well, and if we didn't have the ultimate powers, attending the party. But I don't know. I thought it was a very good wedding. But the one I'm most emotionally attached to is, of course, the Piper Leo one, and I just love that it was like the third attempt. Like, what was the saying again? Like the third time's the charm or something. Um, like I'm happy that Paige got a big wedding, and I do think that Piper also deserved like a big one. But I don't know. I have like a soft spot for like those small weddings, and I just loved the little like magical lights we got, and also the music, because most of the time, and I'm not saying that to be shady, but most of the time the music doesn't really stand out to me in child. I'm not talking about like the songs like you hear at the beginning. I'm talking about the score, I believe. The score, and I guess it does its purpose, but it doesn't really stand out to me. I'm not saying it has to, but it's not something that I was like, oh, I would want that to have in my collection. But for the wedding, I kind of like the score in that one. I do have a I do very much like the score for the Piper and Leo wedding. Um, it's just so cute. Maybe it's because for myself, if I would ever get married, and not for the law, but some not bollocky, not for the law, I guess. But if I would have a wedding, I would also want to have something small like that. Just only the few people who really matter. Um, I don't know. That definitely has my preference as well. Rank the finales. Okay, I'm gonna be very short about it, and it changes all the time. If you wanna know why, then I would recommend seeing the rankings of my previous reviews, because I've already been recording for almost 2 hours, and I still have to edit. So, rank the finales. First finale currently is season 8. Then we have season 3. Then we have season 6, season 1, season 5, season 4, and lastly season 2. I think season 2 was always my least favorite finale, and it looks like that will always be the case. Rank the season premieres. Um, okay, I definitely had some trouble with the season premieres. I feel it's easier to remember the finales than the premieres. So I'm not sure how accurate it is, but I tried to kind of skim a little bit back to the premieres. Um, but I would rank them the following way. First, we have season 6, then we have season 2, then we have season 1, season 3, season 4, season 7, season 8, and season 5. Rank the seasons. First of all, season 1, season 6, 3, 2, 4, and now you're gonna be like, okay, what is gonna be the final ranking? Then we have season 8. Don't kill me. Season 7 and then 5. Yeah, so at this moment I would actually rank season 8 higher than season 5, and I'm surprised by it myself, and I think not a lot of people are gonna agree with this, but I'm currently editing season 7 for YouTube, and I think the last episode I edited, I believe it's episode 13, and I felt like I was having a lot less enjoyment out of the episodes than I had while watching it the first time. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not that fun to edit season 7 so far. Maybe it will be, but I kind of feel like at this moment I enjoyed season 8 more. Huh. But I wouldn't be surprised if I rewatch the book, or maybe if I edit season 8, that I would be like, what the fuck? How could I could have said that? Like, season 7 is obviously better than season 8. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the whole thrill of it being the final season, and how I turned from being like, oh my god, like, what are they doing? I'm not sure about this, to, oh my god, holy, like, we really doing this shit. It was a lot of thrill, a lot of drama, a lot of like, oh, what are we gonna do? It really felt like an event, and I don't know, I had to put it higher than season 7. I think because season 7 started with a bang, and then the second half was a little bit, I still really liked the Zanko bit, but it kind of felt a little bit weird, like, oh, we had the avatars first, that whole, changing the whole freaking world, and now we're just dealing with, like, regular demon, and I know it was Zanko, but still. While season 8, I felt like it made more sense, that we started off kind of like, okay, and then we end up like, holy fuck. Even though season 7 still had a very epic finale, though, don't get me wrong. But yeah, season 5, I don't think it's a surprise that it's last. I think I've always ranked it last since I watched it. Once again, I wouldn't worry too much if it is one of your favorite seasons. Not just because we're all allowed to have our own opinions, but also because, again, I haven't rewatched it. I haven't rewatched the season, so I might as well enjoy it a lot more when I do. I think a big reason why I placed it last was because while I was watching it, I had some personal struggles. Plus, I also had a lot of problems with the whole switch, with the whole, I don't know, just the way how Charmed switched. I really had to get used to it, and it also, there were also some people upset about my reactions at the time, so therefore, it wasn't really a great experience reacting to season 5, though I do think that I'm probably not being very fair about it, but for now, I just have to place it last. If you decide to read the comics, do you think you could tell us what you think of them? Oh, I would definitely love to tell you guys, and I have already decided I want to read the comics. It's just that I'm not sure when exactly. I do want to read them. I am gonna read them. It's just, again, when, and also not just the when, but like how, because I want to read them, but I'm not sure how I would share my opinions, and I'm not good at reviews, so I know some of you propose to make reviews of them, but then I'm like, okay, but how many times do I need to make reviews? Like, for every issue, for every volume, just for like the season? Because is it like, I don't know, is it only season 9 or also 10? I'm not sure. So I'm not really sure how to go about it, and I don't want to risk reading it and then not having the time to review it and then forgetting it. I have to read it again. I don't know. Like, I know, I kind of have to see like examples maybe of people who've done that. Like, are there people who, like, how do people who are reactors who change into reading comics? Like, how do you do that? I just don't want to risk that making reviews of the comics wouldn't be that well received, and at the same time I will have less time to do reactions that I love the most. I tend to like reviews more if I can do it immediately after watching an episode. So for a comic, I don't know, I'm not sure how it would go, but like read it and immediately afterwards like give my thoughts. Like maybe you guys could share some ideas about how you would like me to share my views on the comics. Like would you really want it to see in a video format, or would you be content with me just writing a post about how I feel about it? That would also be nice to know. Maybe like, we don't need to, you don't need to make a video, you can just tell us. Yeah, let me know. And then finally, this wasn't really a question, but this is something that I want to address. I do know that there are still a lot of suggestions and requests for me to react to bonus stuff. I just want to say for now, I'm not sure when and how and if I will react to more bonus stuff. Because people on Discord were so kind to make a list for me, and I'm pretty sure that I also announced beforehand when I was going to make a bonus video. So it's like I announced it, and I kind of thought like, okay, people see that I'm going to make bonus reactions, so if they want me to react to stuff, they're probably going to comment about it. But I didn't really receive that many comments. I think only some asked me to see the reboot trailer, which I did. So I was a little bit confused that when the video came out, a celebration of Charmed, the 2 videos, that then a lot of people appeared and wanted me to react to bonus stuff. And I'm a little like, oh, like I'm kind of thought I was done now. Because also I do want to see a lot of bonus stuff. I do watch a lot of bonus stuff on Out of Charm currently, but I don't always want to react to them. It's just I'm not always sure how to react to bonus stuff, and sometimes they don't have subtitles, and it can be hard for me to focus on both seeing the bonus stuff and also reacting. It would be nice if I can just watch some bonus stuff on my own. But if people really want me to react to them, then of course I'm gonna try to make that possible. I'm just again not sure when. Personally, I was thinking about maybe making some kind of live stream, and then people can send me links like, okay, here I am, I'm live streaming, like maybe on Twitch or something, or like send me some YouTube links that I can see, and maybe like that. I don't know. I don't know. But the thing is, I really hope you guys don't get upset if I don't end up reacting to more bonus features. It's not that I'm not interested in them. No, I very much want to watch them. I haven't, because I know that people want to see my reaction. But it would be nice if I could just kind of sit in my pajamas and just binge all the bonus stuff that I have and can find on my own without a camera in my face. Like, not that I hate doing that, because otherwise I wouldn't be making reactions, but not always, Sometimes I just want to watch things in my own time. Plus I also trying to move on towards Ghost Whisperer, it's time for like a new show, new era. So I do hope this doesn't come across the wrong way, but I also hope you kind of understand my predicament. Yeah, before I end this video, I do have this tradition I kind of do, showing my box set at the end of the reaction, so I should do that again. Well, reaction, review. Alright, so here is it, season 8 of Charmed. It is a little bit damaged because once again it's bought pre-owned. I really like the design of the box sets, and I want to make sure I own all the seasons the same design. So this time it's gray, and I both like it, also not like it. I don't know. Like I do think it's kind of pretty in combination with the red, but at the same time I also like I kind of wish it was like a real pop out color, just like the previous seasons. But then I'm like, wait, which color could they have even used? I guess they were also like, shit, we already used all the known colors. Let's just check the back for a second. Let's see what kind of spoilers they give us. I always wanted to do a reaction in Dutch, which I never did because I was like, how the hell am I going to subtitle everything? So I might as well just read the back in Dutch, just so I can, I don't know, you can hear it. I'm probably going to read very badly. I feel like I do a better job reading things in English than in Dutch. Bereid je voor op de ultieme bovennatuurlijke adrenaline rush. In Charmed seizoen 8 gaan de betoverende zusjes Phoebe, Piper en Paige hun grootste uitdagingen aan op het gebied van liefde, leven en dood. Betreed een maagse wereld vol sensatie. What? Wait a minute back. Betreed een maagse wereld vol sensatie. Huh? Wait, is this sentence wrong? What the fuck? This sentence doesn't make sense. Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna read this weird sentence. Bestreed een maagse... Betreed de maagse wereld vol sensatie beschermen. Volg hen tijdens hun spannende zoektocht naar de G die verbonden zijn met de ultieme kracht. En bereid je voor op huiveringwekkende gebeurtenissen nu demonen de onderwereld willen overnemen. De zusjes zien zich uiteindelijk gedwongen de krachtige leegte op te roepen en de verwoestende strijd aan te gaan. Betoverende fans zullen worden overweldigd door de magie die Charmed seizoen 8 te bieden heeft. De zusjes zijn er klaar voor. Jij ook? So they already spoil us about the ultimate power. But they don't tell us who the ultimate power is. I'm pretty much surprised about that. But they do spoil that they eventually have to get the hollow. Like, what the fuck? Why would you put that on the back? It's kind of funny if you would like literally translate the hollow, you would translate it as the emptiness. Like the powerful emptiness. Like, why the hell? But like, I thought it would be even worse. They had like worse back covers. So yeah, that's like I guess the description that you probably most of you couldn't understand, and the ones who can understand Dutch were probably like, wow, that was very bad. How the hell do you read things? Oh shit, the booklet is already falling out. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, so we have the booklet. And what do we have? We have, let's see, again, some nice pictures. We have Leo and Paige and Phoebe and Piper. And of course, as always, a little description of the episodes, which is nice for rewatches. Oh god. I'm pretty sure that's the picture of when they had to freeze Leo. Everyone is sad. What is this of? Oh, of the wedding, right? This is of the wedding of Paige and Henry's wedding. And is that more? Wait, is that more wedding stuff? I'm not sure. I thought this is also wedding. I'm not even sure. I don't even recognize it anymore. But anyways, a lot of headshots. I'm a little bit like, okay, we have a lot of pictures of them, but I kind of thought we'd also get to see more of the other characters. Oh, like couldn't you? It would have been nice if for the final episode they would have put some family photos, like I did for the thumbnail of the final episode. Like, come on now, why just this? But overall it's still nice. Okay, like overall it's still nice. And then the inside, like always, it's the same. The same design, just the other color. So I'm happy with it. I'm happy that I have the whole show. The only thing that sucks, which kind of tarnished the DVDs for me, I think I said this before, is that for the European versions they have a different frame rate or something, and because of that the voices are sped up. I think like the episodes, the runtime are shorter than they normally are. Like for example, if normally an episode is like, I don't know, 44 minutes, then on the European version, the episode is only 40 minutes, which means that their voices are like higher and stuff, which is really annoying. So that really sucks. So I don't think I'm gonna use DVDs a lot to rewatch the show. I'm probably gonna use the Blu-rays for that, because then I don't have that problem. But it's still nice for collectible purposes. I don't know. I don't want to get rid of them. Even though I was very pissed off when I found that out, I'm still in love with it. Yeah. I can't believe I'm finally done with the review. I kept putting it off. I really hope it was decent. I kind of feel like I was talking in circles. Very sorry about that. But I'm very happy for everyone, who not just watch my reactions, but also watch my reviews. Thank you so much. Because there was a time where I really wanted to stop doing the reviews, but I know that people, some of you really do enjoy them, and I thought it would be a little bit sad to just stop the tradition. I've been doing this for every season. I might as well do it also for season 8. But I want to thank you once again for joining my Charmed journey, for staying with my journey, and just being a part of it, sharing your opinion. Just, I guess, allowing me to be a part of the fandom, even though I'm very late to the party. No, really, thank you so much. I wouldn't be, even though I know I just said that for the bloopers and stuff, that I'm not really sure when and exactly and if I'm going to react to that anytime soon, but I am planning on definitely doing more Charmed stuff in the future. You know, not reboot stuff, but other Charmed stuff at some point. But I hope you understand that for now, you know, I do want to make sure that I also get to do some new shows. You know, get to see. I guess try to move on, but I never forget Charmed. And feel free, you know, if you want, feel free to join the Discord. You're definitely welcome. Because there, trust me, we talk about Charmed a lot, and I wouldn't want it any other way. Alright, thanks so much for watching. Bye. This is for you, Sheridan. May you rest in peace. Every day, every night, I'm just waiting for Sheridan to return. We didn't deserve her. She's such a queen. She was so iconic. Even more iconic than Prue. What have we done? She didn't deserve this at all. Disgusting!